Also, just want to say hello to everyone and thank you so much for having us here. My name is Nikki Pumphrey. I'm the managing director for an organization called Scholas here in Philadelphia, and I am joined by my colleague, Reagan. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Reagan. I am the Senior Manager of Admissions at Scholas Philadelphia. Good morning. Oh, good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, we're getting well into the afternoon. So what Reagan and I are going to do today is we're going to give you some information about who we are and what we do and how we might be able to work with you. And I'm looking at the time. We really want to be able to answer some questions. So I think we're going to go through our presentation fairly quickly, but please know we can send you these slides, we can share this information. Everything that we say today will be on our website. And we're always happy to answer questions offline as well. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen and we're going to get into this. Okay. So who are we? We're Perscolis, however you want to say it. We don't care. We don't care. Ask really makes me want to say Perscolis, but our colleagues in New York say it a little differently. I have this slide here because what is happening in Philadelphia right now is really important for you all to know. Tech is a sector that is growing very quickly in Philadelphia. I heard the team at Chase even say that technology is part of the roles that they're offering. And so we know that technology is everywhere, but specifically here in Philly, technology is really a sector where there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of opportunity for growth. And so that means a job, a career, and moving forward. And we want to be your partner to help make that happen. And particularly in Philadelphia, part of our mission is to make sure that technology reflects Philadelphia. And candidly, right now it doesn't not. So Perscolas is really trying to make sure that more women and people of color have access to roles in technology. And that's our entire mission. So we've been doing that for the last 25 years. And we're really intentional. We partner with employers to make sure that we're not just providing training to get into technology, but that there is a really good job and a career on the back end, and that we're being responsive to employers here in Philadelphia. We're listening so we can prepare candidates for those opportunities. And we've worked with many different companies, including Chase, actually, who has hired some Perscolas graduates, but you didn't know that, Chase team, but now you do. And some of what I just wanted to show here, because I think numbers are important. We often see that Perscolas graduates are earning on average about 4 times more than what they were earning before they started our program. There we see about 80% of our graduates, even here in Philadelphia, connecting to jobs in technology. And we're doing our best to support our learners as they come through our training programs. And so Reagan is going to share more about what we're doing in Philly, what our training programs look like, and more specifically, how you can get involved with us if a career in technology is something that you're interested in. But before she does that, so Perscolas is, we started in New York 25 years ago. We moved all in Philadelphia since 2019. And in 2 years, we've seen about 170 people come through our programs just here in the city. And so Reagan's going to talk to you about Philly and some of what else we're doing.
Hi, everyone. So welcome. I just want to let everyone know too, I dropped my email in the chat along with our website in terms of perscholas.org. You can look under the Philadelphia tab. It does list the current course offerings that we have, and might answer some of your questions, but you are more than welcome after this, if we don't address everybody's questions, to feel free to reach out to me. So This is just a composite in terms of our learners of who we've trained to date. And our graduation rate is 92%. Our average starting salary is around 41,000. And one thing I would say that Scholas really prides itself on is providing people with a livable wage, and that we're committed to doing in terms of people earning $21 an hour or more. And we are focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion, women and people of color. And one thing I want to say in terms of our course offerings is that our course offerings are, some of them are remote, and some of them are actually going to be on site in 2022. They can last from anywhere from 12 to 15 weeks, depending on what the course offering is. We offer information technology, cybersecurity, and user desktop support. And user desktop support is typically known as basically jobs with help desk and everything. And our local employer partner is for that tech systems. Basically, in terms of with technology, the CompTIA is the beginning of that roadmap in terms of a trajectory, in terms of you getting a certification. So it's a starting point, and then there are a lot of different avenues that people can choose to go in from that point. So one thing at Scholas we do offer and have is a learner support team. Our learner support team are social workers, and we also have financial coaches. So they can work with people with one-on-one with coaching. They also do group presentations and workshops. They focus on wellness, wealth, and work rhythm. There is a person in terms of a social worker assigned to each site. And then also a financial coach. And one thing I do want to say is that our training is unpaid. So you do have to plan ahead of time in terms of what you're going to do. We do realize that people still have to work. Our training is from 9 to 4. Okay, and it's boot camp style. So it is rigorous, it is fast and furious. So you have to determine for yourself if it's a good fit for you, and in terms of commitment as well. And then what learning modality really kind of works best, whether it's in person or remote. I will say, if you are interested in person, we are requiring our learners to be vaccinated in terms of their status. If you aren't vaccinated or prefer a remote setting, then you can go ahead and elect with that choice. Okay, so our next upcoming training is in March. And you don't have to have any prior experience. We're really interested in people that are interested in IT and that think that this is a great pathway for them. You know, everybody knows that the Great Resignation is happening, and the two fields that have been the most impacted are actually healthcare and IT. So this is a great way for if you're a career changer or want to expand your skill set or just do something different to get into. The certification that's being offered is the CompTIA Plus, and there's 2 parts to that, and also the Google IT. One thing that we do is utilize a learning management system called Canvas, like what a lot of colleges and schools use, and it's kind of like your one-stop shop for everything while you're in the training. The training does have an instructor and then an instructional assistant. So it's not, even if it's in a remote setting or a live setting, you still can have individualized time. If you're remote, they have breakout rooms and everything, and then different study groups. And then if you're live, of course, you know, you could talk to them. Usually the last hour from 4 to 5, the staff is required to be there. So if you wanted to get more individualized instruction, that's great. Recently, we just got a donation from Temple University in terms of their Digital Equity Center. So even though our learners were remote, we provided them with break-fix computers so they could get that tactile experience. Okay. So one of our learners was actually featured on Feature of Work, which was sponsored through the Philadelphia Inquirer. And this was basically a feature that had run in the summer and fall about people that transitioned into other careers during COVID. This particular learner was somebody that had worked with the Department of Public Welfare for 5 years, and she didn't have the opportunity to go to college, and she had been straight to work. Her name is Lachey Coakley, and she actually, you know, when she started and everything, she really kind of didn't have the confidence that this was maybe something for her. But after the training, she actually took one of our alumni classes, because we do offer those. And everything I forgot to mention is zero cost. It doesn't cost anything in terms of the training. And she went on to get her certification in network support. This video is just talking part of it about her experience in terms of high school and not really necessarily having the opportunity to go to college.
For the Philadelphia Inquirer. And over the last year, me and my colleagues at the paper and our partners at Resolve Philly have tackled a central question. How can we make more families sustainable?
If you could move it to like around 11:50 mark. Okay, there we go. There we go. Perfect, thank you.
Hold on. Okay.
You know, so it was a little bit different.
How does someone without that history, that background to fall back on, how do they progress? You know, how do they make their way? Vanessa, Lachey, what do you guys think? Like, if I'm a student who doesn't have a lot of experience with college, how do I make my way?
It's definitely tricky. I still remember my own high school experience. I also went to a school where a lot of the kids there had that experience with college. Their families were all college educated, and it felt intimidating. I would speak to classmates whose parents had already put them into college level classes, who had them in these extracurriculars I had never even heard of before, and were already on the track to getting an associate's degree before the end of the school year. Meanwhile, I was still hesitating over even the thought of paying for my first classes, and they were as cheap as possible. And so it definitely impedes. Not only that, and just the disadvantage you have with not having people in your circle who already know the experience and the best way to go forward, not even withstanding just the financial aspect of it.
Mm. Vanessa, you had a year of college, and you said...
So that was just a little bit about in terms of Lachey's experience and everything. That wraps up. That was a super, I guess, kind of quick and dirty version of everything. So if anybody has any questions, you can feel free to drop them in the chat or come off the mic. I'd be more than happy, and Nikki would, to answer them.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here. I want to say thank you to the Dornsife Center for even having this forum for us, for those that are interested in, you know, looking for other opportunities. My name is Shanita, and I'm currently in transition, right? Going from self-employment back into the workforce. So I have been looking at technology, but one of the things that I felt was a barrier to entry was the lack of, you know, education, and specifically focusing on IT. I do have a bachelor's degree and I do have an MBA. So I'm just trying to see where I fit in, because I have been, you know, looking for jobs and I just keep getting turned down. And I'm like starting to lose motivation, right? And so I'm just trying to find out, you know, how would this benefit me if I was to even transition from where I am now to IT.
Well, one thing I really think is one thing that we do also offer is in terms of career coaching and job readiness. So that's a piece that's built into our training model anyway. There are people like you that have come here that have had difficulty in terms of finding a job, despite all the jobs that are in the job market, because everybody's like, oh, you're overqualified or this or that, or why do you want to change? Just to give you an example, we have somebody now who actually had been associate director of Year Up, and he's making a change into IT. So I feel one thing I like about the training is that people from all types of walks of life can come in and leverage that experience that they do have in the education and then transition into IT, because you can take those skills that you have acquired from other jobs and then maximize it in maybe a particular setting or industry. I hope I answered your question, Shanita.
Yes, thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
And yes, I am hearing that I'm overqualified. It's
One thing I will say this, because my
I don't know what else
background
to say about that.
is adult and community education. And, you know, one thing is that's really essential is that whole concept of lifelong learning. And I tell people it's okay to change your mind about what you want to do, because who you were when you were like 22 is different than who you are now. And it's a constant evolution. So I would not be discouraged by that with the overqualified. You're overqualified for that job, but you are qualified for a job, period.
And you'd be in good company, Shanita. I would say that like so much of the work that we do is working really with folks one-on-one to figure out, how do I take everything that I've done and make it work in the sector? How do I talk about the experience and the skills that I have? How do I use all the experiences that I've had before to make a career in technology work for me? And so we've even seen folks who've come from a healthcare background who now want to get into technology. They are perfect candidates to then go into a technology role in a healthcare space. So all of those things, those are actually great strengths that you would bring. And that's kind of our specialty. We see a lot of career changers. And like we've said before, you don't have to have any experience in technology.
I see a question in the chat in terms about with the courses. So end user desktop support is being offered in March. Our cybersecurity course is actually being offered in July and then again in the fall. In terms of, in particular, with the upcoming recruitment and everything, everybody, when they initially are interested in it, they can attend an admissions overview, and it's hosted through a Zoom webinar. So if you go on the Scholas site, or if you contact me or whatever, I can send you the link, or you can sign up and fill out the eligibility form on the site, so that way you can join. In terms of cybersecurity specifically, those webinars will not occur until probably April, beginning in April. And usually the admissions process kind of works like this. So you attend an admissions overview, there might be another touch point in between. You'll have an interview as well, and usually you get a decision the same day or within 24 hours. So it's a pretty quick process. And why people are waiting before the training starts, because people get anxious, I actually communicate with people weekly. I send out Friday messages just to keep everybody abreast, to let them know what is going to happen next and going on. We don't offer internships. We offer in terms of supporting you with job placement and everything in jobs. So I guess we're almost at time, Joseph.
Yeah, great. Thank you guys so much. Are there any